Prices fluctuate, but it's not bad times in terms of commodity prices. In fact, you could make an argument that it's great times in terms of commodity prices. That being said, it's never easy being a farmer or being a rancher or being both at the same time. Last year we were sitting there in most regions that are watching this right now begging for rain, praying for rain, not getting rain. Well, this year, most of the regions that we're talking about are too wet to get into that field. We didn't get in as early as last year, and many are looking at means of still getting done. But since prices are good, they want a crop out in that field, but still not getting a chance to get it done. Dan Wogsland, good friend. Danny and I served together in the Senate in North Dakota. He was my leader in the Senate in North Dakota, elected by his caucus and respected by both caucuses. I can vouch for him on that. The only thing that everybody really looked at Wogs about and said, what the heck did you get dropped on your head, was the fact that he was a Packer fan. But you can't fix that. Wogs, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Well, sure appreciate it, Joel, and greetings to all of your viewers from the North Dakota Grain Growers Association. And I got to say, you give me a little bit of a bad time over, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers.
I knew you were going to play that card.
The 13-time, but I am proud to say that sitting beside me is a fellow stockholder in the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, and we've got to. By the way, we've got to thank you for Christian Watson. Thank you. Devontae Adams says he's the real deal. Randall Cobb says he's the real deal. And, I think he's going to be the real deal for you, for us. Not you, for us.
Let's go on the record, folks. My sister Heidi, longtime, lifetime Packer fan, decided for Christmas, because you can own the Packers.
Yes,
right?
yes.
You pay $250, you get a share of the Packers. She bought me a share of the Packers, and now officially I am an owner.
You are an owner.
And you want to know what I did with that certificate?
Well, I'm sure that it's in your office. I don't see it here, but I'm sure it's in your office. Yeah. I know it's got to be there.
It's in my fish house.
It's in.
And you know why? Because you never know when you're going to need paper in a fish house. Fair enough.
Oh, that's just harsh. That's just harsh.
In fairness to me on Heidi too, she was bragging about the Packers, using numbers like you use, and so I said to her, this last football season, I said, Heidi, why don't you name off 5 Packers for me?
And she did that.
The debate ended.
The debate ended.
Yes,
what?
Ended.
Oh my gosh!
Didn't change your mind on the Packers.
Oh man!
I said, you want me to name off 5 Vikings? Now here's the other part of all that. Before we get to the meat and potatoes, Tampa Bay. Do you remember laughing at the Buccaneers?
Yes.
The Saints. Do you remember laughing about the Saints?
Sure do.
Both of them have been Super Bowl champions, and the Minnesota Vikings haven't yet.
But at least you're an owner of the 13-time
Hope springs
world
eternal.
There it is. There it is.
Let's talk about the North Dakota Grain Growers.
Sure.
Describe to people what that is.
Well, the North Dakota Grain Growers contract with the North Dakota Wheat Commission, North Dakota Barley Council to do their domestic policy issues on behalf of North Dakota wheat and barley farmers. We do that on the federal level. We have our own lobbyist, Jim Callan, in Washington, D.C., and we also do it on the state level. And so we're active in politics in Bismarck, politics on the federal level, Farm Bill, crop insurance. Matter of fact, after we visit today, I'm going on a Zoom meeting to talk about crop insurance. And so this is what we do.
Okay. I was visiting with someone that I didn't know was so strong of a barley grower. I mean, he had a contract with Budweiser.
You bet.
And he said it's been one of his best cash crops for years.
Yes.
And he also said in his lifetime, the yield, the genetics, everything that NDSU has done to really get to where, your yields increase every year. He said, I never believed that I would be raising a crop that where I'm getting 130, 140 bushel per acre. I went, you're lying. There
He's
are
not.
barley crops where you can get them that big.
Oh, absolutely, without a question. Rich Horsley and his group of barley breeders up at North Dakota State University have done a wonderful job. And there's not only the malt complex that is buying North Dakota barley, but also the pet food industry. And so you've got, over 20% of North Dakota barley goes into pet food.
Really?
Yes.
I would never have, if you'd have thrown that at me, I wouldn't have got that.
And one of the reasons is during the COVID epidemic, a lot of people went to pets, and so you got to feed them. And so barley is one of the preferred choices, and so it's a major source of income for North Dakota barley producers.
That's amazing to me. With commodity prices now,
Right.
You were a farmer.
Yep.
Along with being a legislator, you were a farmer. So, advocacy was always in your blood. I get that. But also, you made your living off the land prior to taking a job they come and asked you to do. Prices. Compare commodity prices here versus in your lifetime before.
Oh, my goodness sakes. There is no comparison, Joel. Absolutely no comparison. In fact, this is early in my grain grower career. I can remember Neil Fisher, the administrator for the North Dakota Wheat Commission, going to a major meeting. We used to call them the best of the best meeting, and saying, you know what, if we can just get $4 for this wheat, if we could just get $4. The other day, you can, right off the combine, 12 plus in Hannaford, North Dakota. I mean, but you got to put that in perspective too. And that is that, fuel prices, $5 fuel, diesel fuel going through those tractors, all the rest of the input prices are way up. Fertilizer is up, pesticides are up. And so it's relative, but nonetheless, we haven't seen prices like this in quite some time.
Are people still waiting for equipment?
Oh, yes, definitely. There are times I've heard where you couldn't get a combine. If you ordered it this spring, say January, February, you weren't going to see it for this fall. You're maybe going to see it a year from now. Well, we don't need it a year from now. We need it now. And so it seems to me, as I look around on everything, it seems like we're running out of everything. And I can remember that way back in the day, saying we're running out of everything. But goodness, you see that, and you especially see that in the equipment industry as well.
Well, the used equipment industry must be going through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. The used equipment is going through the roof, and farmers are picking it up because you have to have that equipment. If you don't have that equipment, especially in a year like what we have now, you can't get that crop in a timely fashion. And it's critically important to get those yields that you want, that you need to sustain and to be profitable. You got to get that crop in now.
So, and go back to the commodity prices. Usually, or at least it's been my experience, you can get a crop with a good price. China needs soybeans. Edible beans have been, good for a while. Obviously, they're hard to raise. I get all of that. But I've never seen them all good at the same time to where farmers really don't have to adjust their rotations. If wheat prices were at $12, let's just use that as an example. Sure. You'd see more people raising wheat in the old days. Now, you still see them go, well, I can make a lot of money off corn. They're all good right now, Wogs.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank goodness for that. But they are all good, and what people are sticking to now are those rotations. I did a mini poll of my directors. I have 3 directors in each corner of the state of North Dakota. We have 12 directors for the North Dakota Grain Growers Association, and just about by and large, they're sticking to that rotation. Even though it might be advantageous to go one direction or another, they're kind of sticking to that rotation because that's what they're used to. But more importantly, that's what's good for their land.
Welcome back to Down the Road. Still visiting with Dan Wogsland a little bit, Executive Director of the North Dakota Grain Growers Association. We're talking about prices. We're talking about planting rotations, and we're talking about farming in general. Wogs, When I look at some of the numbers back home, I see a generation. You've got one kid that is, he's not. These are adults now, but I've known them and watched them grow up. You've got one that's a doctor. You've got one that's a lawyer. You've got one that's in retail and highly successful there. None of them are going to go farm.
No, they're not. And thank goodness, Joel, they followed after their mother. I'm just going to tell you that and everything. But no, they're not. And today's farming is so specialized and is going to be changed in this future. I was on a webinar this morning put on by the Northern Crops Institute, and they're talking about sustainability and what that's going to mean in the future and how you're going to have to farm according to what the sustainability is going to be. It's going to be a whole new picture, and that picture is going to be driven by young people, because they're the ones that will adapt to the technology. They're the ones that are full of vim and vigor, and they're ready to go, and they're going to go out and do the types of things that they're going to have to do, not because perhaps that's the way Dad did it or the granddad did it or anything like that. They're going to have to do that because that's what the investors are going to want from the companies that buy your products. And so it's going to be a whole new system, and it's exciting. But it's going to be change, and those young people are the ones that are going to grab that change and they're going to run with it.
In our time in the legislature, Dan, the one thing we did hard, what we fought for was small farmers.
Absolutely.
And farmers that didn't have someone sticking up for them. I remember that 1,000-acre farmer, that was kind of being ignored. Is the 1,000-acre farmer done?
You know something, Joel? It takes all of the different acreages to make an agriculture in the United States. It really does. Is it tough to make it on 1,000 acres? I would in production agriculture, absolutely. In fact, it was interesting the other day. Secretary Vilsack was in Crookston talking about agriculture, and he said in the United States there are 2 million farmers. And of that 2 million, 1 million are really in production agriculture. And of that 1 million, 250,000 raise 84% of the commodities in this country. They feed, 84% of the food in this United States is produced by 250,000 folks.
That's amazing.
That is crazy. No, agriculture accounts for 29 million, according to the Secretary, 29 million jobs in this country. So it's critically important. But you've got all kinds of different types of agriculture. Now, where a 1,000-acre wheat farm may or may not be sustainable, a 1,000-acre farm growing specialty crops or growing something else, very, very sustainable. And so the bottom line is the North Dakota Grain Growers Association represents everyone. I can say that for all of the rest of the corn growers, soybean growers, the sugar beet growers. But we need that mix to make U.S. agriculture successful.
So if you're going to do that much work, if you're going to take that on, and I know some of these individuals, and you do as well, good farmers, really good farmers, and great people. But they're going to need labor. They're going to need people, and it's specialized there as well. And the one thing that is consistent whenever I talk to my friend Casey or my friend Kelly, for example, the one thing they're going to tell me is, I can't find the workers.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it is like the old days when my dad grabbed this kid, put him on a 40-20 tractor with a 16-foot cultivator in the back, and said, "Go dig all day." Those days are over, and everything like that. I don't think I could start a tractor today and get in it and start it. I don't think I could. But that being said, yes, we need that specialized labor. Just like in your business here today, just like any businesses, we're going to need that skilled labor force. What I'm kind of excited about is North Dakota State, for example, Bismarck State College, Lake Region Junior College are looking at precision agriculture as a way in which to prepare these young people for jobs in agriculture, and I think that's critically important. But we're going to need that skilled labor force, and it's tough to find right now.
So, when you look real hard at what farming is going to be 10, 15, 20 years down the road, where's it going to be? Where do we go? Is it just keep getting bigger, more specialized, different? I mean, if somebody would have told me that we're going to raise this many edible beans years ago, I'll give you an example, Wogs, of where I'm going with that question. When I went to the University of North Dakota, which hurts a little, that other school, right? Or let me say it a different way, the University of North Dakota. When I went there, you didn't see a corn stalk north of Highway 46,
no.
Which to the average listener out there, that means up and down the Red River Valley, that's Kindred. A 46, long stretch of road. But you didn't see, and to me, that meant no hunting. There wasn't any pheasants, there wasn't any ducks, there wasn't any geese. Now you look at where things are at up there, and there's corn all the way to the border. I mean, is it going to continue?
Oh, without a question. The genetics are getting better and better and better, not only in wheat and barley, but in corn and soybeans. And the demand for oil seeds in this country is massive. That's why you're seeing new plants going into Spirit Wood. That's why new crushing plants, soybean crushing plants in Spirit Wood, also in Castleton. That's why you're seeing all of these different things. It's going to... The dynamic's going to change. It's just like everything in life. Things change. The agriculture I grew up with is not going to be what my kids see at my age, but my granddaughter is going to see some pretty amazing things. If you want to watch some of the amazing things going on, go to Grand Farm. Grand Farm, which is going to be located in Castleton, North Dakota, is talking about these technological changes that are going to take place as we move forward. It's dynamic. I think it's so exciting because this is opportunity. At the same time, you can look at it one way and say, well, gee, I wish I could go back to the old days. You can't go back to the old days and be successful. What you're going to have to do is adapt to the changes, adapt to the times, and the folks that do that are going to be very successful, because I think farming continues to be a successful career. It can feed your family. It can feed the families worldwide. No one does it better than North Dakota farmers and ranchers. And I just like what we're looking at.
There's a guy back home that I might pull a cork with every now and then. You'll know him. But Chris told me a long time ago that when fuel prices are high, yes, it costs me more to make that round in the field, but it also means I'm getting more on the commodity side from the ethanol, from the biodiesel, from all of that. He said, I never cuss higher fuel prices. Still true? Still true.
Because when you take a look at the abnormally high fuel prices that we're looking at right now, you're also looking at abnormally high commodity prices. Commodities rise and fall. They kind of follow themselves. When one is up, the other one tends to go up, and conversely goes down. So the dynamic is right there. It's going to be interesting as we move forward how that dynamic plays, and the best thing we can do is have a crop.
Yeah. Well, your guys got bad knees.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You might think you got a great pick there.
No.
You don't trade with people in your division. You just don't. Are you going down to the Packer Viking game?
Absolutely. Would not miss that. At Lambeau. Do you know when that is?
It's Christmas time, isn't it?
No. New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve?
No, actually New Year's Day.
That sounds like a little bit of a party to me.
That's possible, and it sounds like 23 below, but we'll see.